I am Mara Ellison, and I am 34 years old. The night my life burned down, I was standing barefoot on a broken stretch of sidewalk, watching flames chew through the roof of my small duplex like they were hungry for proof that I had finally lost everything. The heat pressed against my skin in heavy waves, and the air smelled like smoke, melted wiring, and something sharp I couldn't name. I remember clutching my phone so tightly my fingers hurt, like it was the last solid thing connecting me to reality. I had run out with nothing but an oversized gray t-shirt, and the keys still dangling uselessly from my hand. By the time the fire alarm stopped screaming, my ears were ringing anyway. Before I continue, please like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me where you're watching from today. Your support truly means more than you know, and it helps stories like this reach people who need them. When headlights swept across the street, I felt a brief, stupid flicker of relief. For a second, I thought help had arrived. But instead of more emergency vehicles, a familiar black SUV rolled to a stop at the curb. My stomach dropped before anyone even opened a door. I already knew. My family stepped out slowly, one by one, like they were arriving late to a social event. No urgency. No panic. Just curiosity. My mother, Celeste Ellison, raised her phone immediately, angling it toward the flames. "Wow," she said, her voice light, almost impressed. "Look at that." My father, Gordon Ellison, crossed his arms and studied the burning duplex like a contractor inspecting a bad renovation. My younger sister Naomi hovered beside him, whispering something to her fiancé, Reed, who was already snapping pictures. I took a step forward, my feet gritty with ash. I lost everything," I said. My voice sounded thin, like it might disappear if I pushed it any harder. Celeste barely looked at me. She tilted her head, smiled faintly, and said, "Well, karma doesn't waste time, does it?" The words hit harder than the heat. Gordon nodded slowly, like he was agreeing with a lecture he'd already heard. "You made your choices," he added calmly. "Some people are just unlucky. No one asked if I was hurt. No one offered shoes. No one asked where I would sleep." Reed laughed quietly. "This is crazy," he said. "The lighting is wild." I watched my mother adjust her stance, framing the fire trucks behind her like a backdrop, and something cold settled deep in my chest. As the fire crackled behind us, she whispered, "Get one with the flames higher. This could really take off online." Naomi smoothed her hair and muttered, "God, this is tragic," but her eyes never left her reflection on the screen. I stood a few feet away, invisible, my entire life collapsing while they debated angles. "Can someone help me find my bag?" I asked quietly. Gordon sighed, irritated. "Now's not the time, Mara." Reed snorted. "What bag?" "That place is toast." Celeste finally lowered her phone and looked at me like she'd just remembered I existed. "You'll figure it out," she said. "You always do." Then her tone sharpened. "And don't make a scene. People are watching." I didn't cry. I refused to give them something they could replay later. I turned away, opened a rideshare app, and ordered a car. Behind me, I heard Naomi laugh. "Imagine explaining this to people," she said. "Like, yeah, my sister burned her house down." "Actions have consequences," Gordon replied. The car pulled up as the fire began to die down. I climbed in, the smell of smoke clinging to my skin and hair. As we drove away, I looked back once. My family was still there, standing close together, smiling in front of what remained of my home. That was the moment I understood something I had never allowed myself to see before. I had never been part of their picture. I had only been the background, and backgrounds are replaceable. The next morning, I woke up in a cheap roadside hotel with a stiff neck and smoke still trapped in my hair. The ceiling above me was yellowed and cracked, and the room smelled like old coffee and disinfectant. For a moment, I didn't know where I was. Then it all rushed back. I reached for my phone. No missed calls. No messages asking if I was okay. Instead, there were notifications. Reed had sent a photo of my burned duplex, flames circled in red. The caption read, "Home sweet home." Naomi had posted a brunch photo. Sunlight, mimosas, smiling faces. The caption said, "Some people burn bridges and act surprised when they're alone." My mother's page showed cozy family photos from the night before. Comments filled with hearts and praise. "So strong. Family first. Sending love." I stared at the screen until my hands went numb, then turned the phone face down. I breathed slowly, the way I did at work when something went wrong and panic wouldn't help. I opened my laptop and started filling out insurance forms. I uploaded photos. I attached documents. I answered questions with calm precision. Later that afternoon, a coworker texted me. I heard about the fire. If you need a place or help, I'm here. That was when the tears came. Not from loss. From the shock of being seen. Within 2 weeks, I found a tiny studio apartment near Briar Hollow, a noisy, half-renovated area just outside the city center. It was cramped and imperfect, but it was mine. The rent was $1,050 a month, and it stretched my budget thin, but it felt safe. On the first night there, sitting on the floor surrounded by borrowed furniture, I opened a blank document on my laptop and titled it, Family Ledger. I didn't know why yet. I just knew I needed the truth written somewhere. I had always been the quiet fixer in my family. At work, I managed financial operations for a mid-sized logistics firm. The kind of job where mistakes had consequences and details mattered. I tracked accounts, flagged issues, and solved problems before anyone else even noticed they existed. At home, those same skills were treated like a free service. Gordon would drop grocery bags full of receipts on the table. Just make sure the tax office doesn't start sniffing around, he'd say. Celeste forwarded brand contracts with a note. Can you skim this? It's boring. Naomi shoved wedding spreadsheets at me. Make it look less scary, she'd laugh. Reed texted constantly. Quick question. The questions were never quick. I logged everything in Family Ledger. Not to charge them. Just to remind myself I wasn't imagining the exhaustion. Months after the fire, scrolling through the list, my stomach dropped. Without me, their lives didn't function. And yet, they had laughed while mine burned. Around the 1-year mark, Naomi posted a photo from a rooftop bar. The caption read, 1 year since we cut off toxic energy. Some bridges are better burned. My mother commented, so proud of our growth. I closed the app and sat very still. Something shifted. That night, I opened Family Ledger and added a new section. Exit plan. I wrote it like a work project. Identify every account I touched. Transfer ownership. Remove access. Stop loans. Stop fixing. The next morning, I sent a message to the family group chat. I'm stepping back from handling finances, paperwork, and accounts. I'll transfer everything over in the next few weeks. After that, I won't be involved. Reed replied first. LOL what? Naomi wrote, is this about a joke? Celeste said, we'll talk at dinner. Gordon waited, then typed, family should be there for each other. I didn't argue. I got to work. I cleaned Gordon's accounts, sent summaries, and removed myself. When he texted, why am I locked out? I replied, because it's yours now. Celeste called, frustrated. You know I hate portals, she snapped. You talk about taking control of your life, I said evenly. This is part of it. Naomi panicked when vendor emails piled up. You're sabotaging my wedding, she accused. I didn't respond. Reed begged. Then he got angry. Family doesn't cut family off, he said. I stared at the message and finally understood something simple and irreversible. I wasn't cutting them off. I was letting them stand on their own for the first time. And they were about to learn what it cost. I didn't expect the consequences to arrive so quickly or so loudly. 3 days after I removed myself from my father's accounting software, my phone buzzed with a photo message. It was a scanned letter, slightly crooked, like someone had taken it in a rush. Across the top, in bold red letters, were the words Final Notice. What is this? Gordon texted right after. I read the letter slowly, calmly. My chest didn't tighten. My hands didn't shake. That was how I knew something inside me had already changed. It's the missing quarterly filing, I replied. The one I warned you about last year. There was a long pause. Then, can you just fix it this once? I stared at the screen for a full minute before responding. No. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. Gordon's name lit up the screen. I let it ring twice before answering. You're being dramatic, he snapped. This is what you do. I leaned back against the counter in my studio, staring at the chipped paint on the wall. It was what I did, I said quietly. He hung up without another word. Across town, Naomi was unraveling. She sent screenshots of emails stacking up from vendors. The florist. The venue coordinator. The caterer. The florist says the balance is overdue, she wrote. What does non-refundable after this date mean? I typed a reply, deleted it, then sent one line. It means you needed to read your contract. She called immediately. You can't just drop this on me, she cried. You know I don't understand numbers. I closed my eyes. You didn't want to understand, I said. You wanted me to carry it. The line went dead. That night, my mother left a voicemail. Her influencer voice was gone, stripped down to sharp frustration. I missed an appointment, she said. They charged me a cancellation fee. This wouldn't have happened if you'd reminded me. I listened to the message twice. Then I archived it. For the first time, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. Reed didn't take the shift quietly. He showed up outside a coffee shop near my office the following week, stepping directly into my path as I walked out with a paper cup in my hand. "You're really serious about this?" he asked, eyes wide, like I'd just confessed to a crime. "Yes," I said. "I've got inventory sitting at home," he said quickly. "If I don't flip it, I'm done." "That's not my problem," I replied. He scoffed. "You always say that. But you always help." "Not anymore." His voice dropped. "You got an insurance payout. You're fine. Why are you punishing us?" My jaw tightened. "I lost my home," I said. "And you made it a joke." He looked away. "You're going to regret this," he muttered. "When nobody's there for you." I watched him walk off, shoulders tense, and felt something unexpected settle over me. Relief. That evening, I opened Family Ledger one last time and renamed the file. My balance. I added new entries. Therapy appointment. Savings goal. Weekend trip. The silence afterward was loud, but it was clean. 2 weeks later, the cracks started showing publicly. Gordon lost a client after missing a licensing renewal he'd always relied on me to flag. "This is ridiculous," he texted. "They dropped me." I didn't respond. Celeste's posting slowed. Her captions turned vague. "Hard seasons. Learning curves. Growth isn't pretty." Off camera, she was frantic. She called one night, voice raw. "I can't keep track of everything," she said. I double-booked. I missed another meeting. "You'll figure it out," I said. "You're holding a grudge," she snapped. "I'm holding a boundary," I replied. Naomi's wedding changed quietly. The ballroom disappeared. The guest list shrank. The floral arrangement simplified. When she finally texted me, the message was short. "You win. My wedding is ruined." I typed a reply, deleted it, then tried again. "I don't win because you lost something," I wrote. "I win because I stopped letting you treat me like a tool." She never answered. For the first time, I noticed how little space they took up in my daily life now. I slept better. I laughed more. I stopped checking my phone every 5 minutes. The fire had taken my home. The aftermath gave me clarity. Celeste showed up unannounced one evening, standing in the hallway outside my studio. No camera. No makeup ring light. "We need to talk," she said. I didn't invite her in. "Your father is stressed," she continued. "Reed is struggling. Naomi is embarrassed. This family is falling apart." "It fell apart when you laughed," I said. She sighed. "We handled that badly. But letting one night destroy everything, that's on you." I felt anger rise, then settle. "You call it one night," I said. "I call it proof." Her eyes flashed. "Family is all you have in the end." "No," I replied. "Family is how you treat people when they are vulnerable." For a moment, she looked unsure. Then she straightened. "You'll regret pushing us away." "I already regretted staying," I said. She left without another word. After that, the calls slowed. Birthdays passed quietly. Holidays came and went. Online, my family rebranded. Smaller dinners. Softer captions. Embracing the messy. I watched without commenting. In my own life, things stabilized. I saved. I traveled. I built routines that belonged to me alone. One evening, sitting by my window, I thought about the sidewalk. The smoke. The laughter. I realized something simple. Karma hadn't burned my life down. It burned the illusion. The only thing I'd taken from my family was access. And without it, everything they'd built began to wobble under its own weight. The silence didn't last. It just changed shape. Gordon started sending shorter messages, stripped of anger and heavy with urgency. "Do you know a good CPA?" he wrote one morning. I read it and set the phone down. Later that week, Celeste posted a video about burnout and invisible labor. Soft voice. Glossy eyes. The comments praised her honesty. I watched, stunned by the irony. No one knew who had actually carried that invisible work for years. Naomi resurfaced next. "Can we talk?" she texted late one night. "Just us." "About what?" I asked. A long pause. "I don't know how to manage all of this," she wrote. "I never did." "That doesn't make it my responsibility," I replied. Reed tried a different angle. He sent a photo of old family dinners. Everyone smiling. Arms around shoulders. "Remember when we were close?" he asked. I stared at the image. Close, I whispered, thinking of the sidewalk and the flames. I didn't respond. Each message felt less like connection and more like proof of how much they had relied on my silence. And for the first time, I noticed something important. They were learning. Slowly. Painfully. Without me. At work, my manager pulled me aside one afternoon. "You seem lighter," she said with a small smile. "Whatever changed, keep it." I laughed, surprised. I started taking lunch breaks. I booked a short weekend trip without checking anyone else's schedule. Therapy gave language to what I'd lived with for years. Scapegoating. Emotional neglect. Transactional love. "You were useful," my therapist said gently. "Not valued." The words stung. Then they settled. One afternoon, Evan, Naomi's husband-to-be, messaged me. "I know this isn't my place," he wrote, "but I owe you an apology." "For what?" I asked. "For watching you carry everything and not saying anything," he replied. "They talk about you like you abandoned them. I know that's not true." Something loosened in my chest. "Thank you," I typed. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was acknowledgement. That night, I realized I didn't need my family to understand my choice. I just needed to trust it. The breaking point didn't arrive with shouting or drama. It came quietly, the way truth usually does when it no longer needs permission. It was late, close to midnight, when there was a knock at my door. I wasn't expecting anyone. I hadn't invited anyone over in months. When I looked through the peephole and saw my father standing there, shoulders slumped, a worn folder clutched to his chest, something inside me went still. I opened the door but didn't step aside. "I just need 10 minutes, Gordon said. His voice was smaller than I remembered. Not angry. Not commanding. Just tired. After a moment, I moved aside. He sat at my small dining table and spread out papers like evidence in a trial he already knew he was losing. "They're auditing me," he said quietly. "I don't know where to start." I leaned against the counter, arms folded. "You hire someone," I said. He looked up sharply. "You could fix this in an hour." I shook my head. That hour cost me years. His jaw tightened. "You're really going to let this sink me?" I met his gaze without flinching. "You let my life burn while you filmed." The silence that followed was thick and final. He gathered the papers slowly. "You've changed," he said. "I stopped pretending," I replied. He left without another word. Days later, Naomi called. Her voice cracked before she even finished saying my name. "I need you," she said. "Not spreadsheets. Just you." I closed my eyes. "Why now?" "Because I'm scared," she whispered. "Everything feels fragile." "I was scared on the sidewalk," I said. You laughed. There was a pause. Then, softly, "I didn't know what to do." "You knew how to record," I replied. The call ended without anger. But it ended. Celeste tried one last time. She asked me to meet her for coffee. No cameras. No filters. "I built my life on appearances," she admitted, stirring her cup. "I didn't think it would cost me my daughter." "It didn't," I said calmly. "What cost you was choosing image over empathy." Her eyes filled. "Can we start over?" I stood. "Only if you stop asking me to carry what's yours." She nodded slowly. "I don't know how. I paid for my coffee. Learning isn't my job anymore." Weeks passed. The family didn't collapse. But they struggled. Gordon hired help. Naomi downsized expectations. Reed took a regular job instead of chasing shortcuts. Celeste disappeared from social media for a while. I watched from a distance, not rooting for failure, just no longer intervening. One night, Evan messaged me again. "They're finally growing up," he wrote. "Good," I replied. "Growth shouldn't require a sacrifice." I slept deeply that night. On the anniversary of the fire, I took the day off. I walked through the city, sunlight warm on my skin, sandals slapping pavement. I passed cafes, construction sites, new buildings rising where old ones had burned down. That night, standing by my window, I realized the fire hadn't marked the worst moment of my life. It marked the last moment I accepted being disposable. The future didn't feel loud or dramatic. It felt steady. Then came the final test. An email arrived from Gordon's new CPA, polite professional, asking about historical records. I read it twice. Then I closed my laptop. An hour later, my phone rang. "They said you'd know where the old files are," Gordon said carefully. "They're in the folders I handed over," I replied. A pause. "You're really done?" "Yes," I said. "And you'll be okay." Another pause. Then, quietly, "I should have said something back then." "You still can," I replied. "I'm sorry," he said. "For that night." The apology didn't erase the past, but it landed. "Thank you," I said. The boundary held. That's how I knew it was real. Reed asked for coffee weeks later. Not money. Not help. Just coffee. "I was mad at you," he admitted. "But I get it now." "I know," I said. "I'm working a regular job," he added. "It's boring." "Boring can be stable," I replied. Naomi sent a short message after her honeymoon. "I hope you're well." I answered honestly. "I am." Celeste left one voicemail months later. "I'm taking a break," she said. "From pretending." I deleted it. I didn't need to carry her healing. Work promoted me. I signed a lease on a better apartment. I hosted friends who brought wine and stayed late without needing anything from me. When someone asked casually, "Do you talk to your family?" I answered, "Sometimes." And that was enough. One Sunday, I walked past the block where my old duplex once stood. The lot was cleared. New framing stood tall. Workers laughed as they built something new. I didn't stop long. I went home, cooked dinner, and opened my laptop. I deleted my balance. Not out of anger. Out of completion. I didn't rebuild my life to prove a point. I rebuilt it because I finally understood my worth. The fire showed me who my family was. Walking away showed me who I could be. I didn't destroy anyone. I didn't expose secrets. I didn't celebrate their struggles. I simply stopped saving people who wouldn't save me. And when I stopped, the truth surfaced on its own. If this story resonated with you, remember this. Walking away isn't cruelty. It's clarity. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stop standing in the flames for people who refuse to feel the heat. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me where you're watching from today. I'll see you in the next story.